Welcome everyone to my Sunday live stream. I missed you guys, for those of you that routinely check in on me here. I am still connected to my at-home chemo pump. Got my little pack right here. And I go in about 4 hours to get disconnected, and I just wanted to touch base with you. I find great value in checking in and doing live streams. It distracts me, it uplifts me, it makes me think I can be useful, and I just very much enjoy your guys' time, and I enjoy your guys' perspective and your support. So I think I'll start real quick with just letting you know how round 2 of my chemotherapy experience has been going so far. And then we'll just hang, we'll just chill. I'm assuming this will be about an hour. And I look forward to also just hearing about how you guys are doing, answering any questions you might have. You know how these things go. But before I start, is my audio okay to the people that are already here? I see there's a few people. Last time I butchered the audio pretty bad, and so let's make sure that's going okay. Hi, everyone. Audio good? Awesome. All right, guys. So yeah, this weekend has been much like the last weekend. I didn't have a very tough first round of chemo, all things considered. And so a brief update would just be that I came into this weekend a little more prepared, naturally, because it's not my first time now. The only noticeable difference I can say with certainty is that I'm having like a mouth sensitivity and a throat sensitivity to drinking cool, even kind of room temperature liquids. So like I normally wake up every day with a glass of water, and part of the chemotherapy regimen I'm on is oxaliplatin. One of the side effects are just that you're dealing with cold sensitivity, like your fingers and in your mouth. And so I have. And I've noticed that when I drink water, especially too fast, which I typically wake up and slug a glass of water, it feels like my mouth is cramping. It feels like my throat is cramping. It feels like I'm suddenly getting stuck and like it's hard to swallow and move. A little unnerving, but apparently not terribly uncommon. Just something that caught me off guard because it happened pretty quick. And then like I'm going through this first bite syndrome thing where the first bite of food, it feels like my jaw is cramping on both sides. Not terrible, not my favorite, but ultimately not too big a deal. Energy's been fine, sleep's been perfectly fine, outlook's been good. I have no complaints so far, and I think I'll answer questions as they come, but that's like my quick initial little update for everyone. And yeah, we'll just go from there. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. And let's hang for a bit. Claiborne says, hi Noah, hi Claiborne. Eric says, be strong. I appreciate that. I will. Karita says, hi Noah, hey. Webble says, heart and muscle. Thank you. Mark, thumbs up, awesome. Greetings everyone, just tuning in for Straight Jacket Fitness, one of my OGs. Milk says, sounds great, thank you. Janice says, okay. Karita says, it's okay. Audio sounds good. Mark says, how many rounds do you have to do? This is a little up in the air, I think, but if my chemo goes smoothly and there are no complications and it seems like it's being helpful, i.e., let's say that they redo some labs in a couple months, redo some imaging as well, like a CT scan, it looks like we're not getting notably worse, as limited as those things are as far as how effective they can be and how accurate they can be. I think the goal is to make it 12 rounds. And if one round is 2 weeks, I think that puts me at 6 months on chemo. And my job is just to, if I can, nail my protocols to maximize the chemo effectiveness for attacking rapidly dividing cells, but then protect my healthy cells and deal with stem cell production with my immune system, with my other supplemental treatments and medications and things like that. Straight Jackets Fitness. Nothing there. Carita says you look great. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's kind of you to say. Straight Jacket says I'm very interested to see the process. Yeah, me too. Life's interesting, and having cancer is interesting, and being on chemo now for the first time is interesting, and wondering like what's going to happen. How will this feel? Am I going to do okay? Could something suddenly go wrong? There's a lot of room for nerves and there's a lot of room for fear, but it seems to be going well so far. And all I have is today, of course, and right now. And right now we're doing okay. All right, what's next? Straight Jacket Fitness says the temperature sensitivity sounds miserable. It's not so bad. I just have to remember. That if I touch something cold, it hurts my hands. I have to remember that if I breathe in cold air too aggressively, it can almost make my lips feel like they're cramping. But it's truly not so bad right now. And I really want to give the things that are going well their due, because I think I'm having what would be likely considered a wonderful response to chemo thus far with the regimen we have, the dosages we've settled on, and then the supplementary and supportive things we're doing. I mean, it's not so bad. It really isn't. I've experienced plenty of good while on chemo. Is it my favorite? No. Do I feel as good right now as I will in a week? I don't think so. That's what my first round taught me. But dude, I mean, some of you know this, maybe some of you don't, but I'm a recovering alcoholic, one day at a time. And I remember what it felt like to be drunk every day. And I remember what it felt like to wake up ruthlessly hungover every morning and dealing with the burden of detoxing, dealing with the anxiety that would follow, and just the pain of that cycle. And so far, this does not feel as bad as that felt. So Tracy says, are you able to have kids after chemo? Cancer survivor ×2. You got this, Tracy. I love that you mentioned that. I am sincerely humbled and inspired by my fellow cancer patients who show up here and who give testimony. So thank you. I don't know about the kids thing. I'm someone who's on low dose testosterone, and I have been for a long time. So I don't think I'm fertile anyhow. But beyond that, my wife and I were, the plan was to start a family, or at least we were heading that direction before my diagnosis. And then I was diagnosed with cancer, and now it's gotten worse. And I honestly don't know that I have it in me to even consider starting a family under these circumstances, because I still have hope in my heart for sure, and I mean that. But I just don't I will still probably be surprised if I'm alive for a long time, but I have a lot of hope that I could be alive for quite a while and open to miracles as far as long term. Long-winded way of saying the idea of bringing a life into this world that I can't help raise, or I can't be sure I'll be around for, reasonably sure, of course, because none of us know how long we have, and I understand that. But I do think my likelihood of being here is considerably worse than the typical person, and it just sort of breaks my heart, the idea of bringing a baby around and having my wife Jessie raise that kid on its own if I take a turn for the worse really quickly. And I do have a rare, aggressive, currently metastatic cancer. It's spreading all over, and just want to be really mindful of that. So someone incredibly kind has just participated in the super chat function, and I really appreciate that. I cannot overstate how much I lean on you guys and how much I depend on my community on YouTube and my local community for financial support, as well as mental, emotional support and educational support and all of those things. My non-covered medical expenses are roughly $3,000 a month, and I'm so thankful to have access, and I never want to leverage what I'm going through in a manipulative way, but I wouldn't want to pretend that getting super chats and memberships on YouTube and donations on my GoFundMe, I would never want to pretend that that doesn't deeply impact my life in a positive way. So if any of you want to contribute in any way that you think you can, God bless you and thank you. Please know, though, sincerely, you're doing enough by being here. You're giving me a sense of meaning and purpose, and you are helping me all the same. So thank you. To that effect, if you do give me a super chat, I'm going to, of course, go straight to your comment, just out of respect for you being so generous to me. That said, XL812 gave me a $20 super chat. Thank you. But didn't include a comment. So I'll be looking for one. And I'm going to give that a heart, of course, and a thumbs up. And I just really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Where were we? Oops. Sorry, guys. Let's see. I'm going to pin my GoFundMe here, and I always aim to do this in the most respectful way that I can, so I hope it doesn't cause anyone any offense. Okay, where were we, guys? Casual Conversations says hello. Hi. Mark says, you have an inspiring outlook and attitude, man. Don't know you, but donated, and I'm rooting for you. Thank you for doing that. It's really, really kind of you. Whatever attitude that I am mustering and however it comes across, I take as little credit as I could possibly hope to take. I'm surrounded by great people. I have wonderful leadership in my life. I have a budding relationship with God and with a higher power that's helping me just stay calm and not let this whole thing turn me sour, not let this whole thing turn me cold and bitter and overly fearful. So thank you. And it's just a reflection of people I surround myself with. And yeah, it means a lot to me. Martina says, praying for you, Noah, and I appreciate the prayers. I get this crazy sense of calm and peace knowing that there are people all over the globe by way of this YouTube experience thinking about me and praying for me and teaching me how to think about others and think about them and teaching me to pray and understanding the power of that. I believe in it. I'm not bigger than it. I feel so humbled by it. So thank you. Thank you so much. Indowa says, my mom is going through chemo, first of 6 sessions. She's strong and a believer. You got this, Noah. God bless your mom. Yeah, having faith seems to help me a lot because this is all too much for me. And so like the idea that there's a loving God that has a plan for me, has a plan for your mom, and that this is all happening exactly as it's supposed to. It's comforting, and that comfort spills out into my life elsewhere. So it seems really great. Claire Bond says, what do you think about using law of attraction to manifest a positive outcome? There's been so many stories of miracles happening with it. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. Would you explain that deeper for me, please? I think I understand what you mean. Like what you put out is what you get back. Is that what law of attraction means? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I'd love to explore that topic more. Just help me clarify if you would. Dude411 says, hi, Noah, interested in learning if you still use testosterone on what weekly doses. No worries if that's not something shareable. No, it is. Wish you all the best and hoping for positive outcomes for you. Yeah, so I'm currently taking 80 milligrams a week of testosterone cypionate. I do that subcutaneously. For those of you that don't know, back in 2012, I was diagnosed with hypogonadism, which is to say that my body wasn't producing enough testosterone to be counted upon to help me mentally and then with some of my physical processes. And this was verified over a number of blood draws, and it's just been something that I've been documenting with relative sincerity for a long time. Now, when I was diagnosed with testosterone, one of the questions that came up was, do I need to get off? Because a lot of cancers, especially ones that have now metastasized, meaning to say that they've become tumors and they've spread, a lot of them can be fed by your hormone profile. It's not entirely clear with mine, because I know via some high-end testing that like my cancer doesn't respond like a prostate cancer would per se, but we certainly wouldn't want to be overstimulated from an anabolic perspective. And so I previously was on like a 130 to 140 a week dosage, split over 2. And now I do 4 days a week, tiny little doses of 10 milligrams at a time. So the goal for me is to keep my testosterone in the normal range, but never more. And Dr. Lowy, I think his name Lowy, Dr. Lowy from UCSD San Diego, he's a specialist in the field of cancer and surgery and oncology. And we spoke about this, and he said that he thought it would be more prudent to stay on my testosterone and just keep it in the pocket. Let's not be high. Let's just keep my peaks and valleys neutral, because there are so many benefits that it's been offering me, and there would likely be more risk to coming off right now. But it's something I'm evolving with as far as information goes, and I hope that made sense. I hope I explained that in a good way. All right. Oh, and if there's 82 people here, I'm so happy you guys are here. You're making my day better. You're giving me a sense of purpose for the day, and I really appreciate it, a sense of usefulness. That being said, if you've never left a comment on someone's live stream before, it can be very engaging. I've found in the past, it's been a while, but when I've joined other people's live streams, if I participate in whatever way, share something about myself, ask a question, direct the conversation, or just say hi, I find that I'm more in tune. I find that the live stream is more interesting to me. So please participate if you haven't. Just say hi, click that chat button, and send me something. It's great to read your name out loud, and it's great to hear from you. All right. Weevil says to cry faces. I don't know what that's in reference to. Personal XC says, hi mate, watched your gastritis video. Do you think symptoms on that video related with your diagnosis? I do guys. So I've been talking about pain in my stomach since 2019. And the one thing we didn't get to as far as trying to figure out where this pain was coming from as it increased over the years was a colonoscopy. They ultimately found a big tumor in my large intestine that was obstructing the function of my small intestine. And yeah, I never want to instill or incite fear, but of course I wish I had gotten that fully investigated to the point where I left no shadow of a doubt, which I did. And that's been a tough pill to swallow, depending on how I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis. Tracy says, I understand. Thank you regarding the kid thing. Where were we? Joy Gonzalez says, hi Noah, stage 4 survivor 2 times, wow, since 1989, stage 1 in 2020, just turned 75 last Saturday and still here. Prayers for you and keep up the fight. Thank you, Joy, for taking a second out of your day to share that. That's always nice. It's always good to be reminded, and I'm happy for you, and thank you. That's really great. Triple O, Charlie, and OG on this channel. Hi Noah, how's your treatment coming along? It's coming along well, guys. I am so far handling the side effects incredibly well. Couldn't have guessed it would go quite this well. I'm leaving space and preparation for whatever may come. I've heard stories that the longer you are on chemo, the more difficult it can become to tolerate, the more side effects I might have. And I won't mince words about that. I will be as honest as I can about that. But for right now, we're doing great. GTX says KK. Louis Carrasco says, rooting for you from Chicago. Thank you for rooting for me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well also. Straight Jacket Fitness says, oh yeah, I didn't think about the comparison between chemo symptoms and severe hangover detox withdrawal. That's a hell of a benchmark to measure misery. Yeah, isn't it though? It's wild, but it's helpful, excuse me. Snow Beaver says, has cancer affected your depersonalization? No, I don't think it has at all, actually. I mean, I've had like hyper anxious moments that made me experience mimicking symptoms. For those of you that don't know, depersonalization is essentially just like a detached, derealized state of mind, likely Corton. It could be explained as like being really hungover while being over caffeinated or underslept or any combination thereof. And no, I've had some anxious moments for sure where I felt fuzzy and foggy, but I've also felt quite clear. The worst I felt from a depersonalization standpoint over the course of the last handful of years was coming off of Imodium AD. When I had, this is a quick diatribe, I'll try to get back on task, but when I had a hemicolectomy surgery a bit over a year ago, when they first diagnosed me with cancer, and I had a big tumor they needed to remove, they started me when I finished the surgery on Imodium AD, an anti-diarrheal. They told me to expect that my digestion would be greatly impacted. And so I casually was taking Imodium AD every day for like a long time. And then when I came off of the Imodium AD early in the summer after being on it for 7 months daily, I legitimately had opiate withdrawals. We can talk about that some other time, but it just led to a sense of depersonalization. Took a couple months to recover. I did not realize that Imodium AD can bind to your opiate receptors. Anyway, I'm over explaining, but Dustin says hi. What up, Dustin? Pink Rosa says, hey Noah, just stopped by to say hi, that I'm glad you're doing well with chemo. I was hoping it'd be easier than you thought. Not that it's easy. Do you have an appetite? Thank you for stopping by. I do have an appetite. It's not great on while I'm on the chemo from what I can tell, but it's there. My taste is different on chemo too, so my enthusiasm for eating and the energy to eat or the desire is different. I'm also on a very specific calorie restriction that starts the day before chemo begins. So every Thursday, every other week, and it ends on Tuesday. Like I start eating back to normal calories and then excess calories to make up for it on Tuesday. So I just don't end up eating a lot for 5 days around the cycle of being infused with chemo to help the chemo be more effective. That said, I had plenty of an appetite of about 2 or 3 days after like I was disconnected from this pump. My appetite should come back, I suspect, to more normal, not to mention my calorie goal. And I took great pleasure in eating. So, Eplove, Jesus, hi Noah, hi. Straight Jacket, I hope and pray for your treatment is at least miserable as it can. Is as least miserable as it can be. Yeah, it's going okay. I'll be all right. Thank you. Jane Doe says, my husband's cancer is spreading rapidly. How can I best support him? Oh, man. You know, I'm so sorry to hear that. I almost think I should get my wife on here to chat with you. My stance historically, when it comes to how to support someone you love who's suffering with a medical diagnosis or some great difficulty, is to make sure that you're just supporting yourself first as thoroughly and as well as one could hope. So look after yourself, look after your rest, look after your mind, body, and soul, all those things. You know, a cup must be full to runneth over, that sort of idea, that sort of attitude. And then I'll probably leave it here because I don't want to overexpand on something that I haven't personally dealt with too much. I tend to be the one in trouble. But I think consistency and calm and loving is very important. I think the ability to be those things, the more consistent you can be, the more unflinching you can be with your belief that he can be okay and that things can be okay, the better. Make sure someone you know and you trust knows what you're really thinking and feeling. These are just my opinions, but make sure you're not pretending not to be scared, but maybe let someone else absorb some of those feelings and do your best to be an anchor for your husband. And then practically speaking, just help him with the research aspects of things and just be as much a service as you can, I guess. That's a tough one, and I really don't know the right answer, but you'll be in my thoughts. It's really hard. Straight Jackus, yeah. M4RK says, is the aim of the chemo to then do surgery after? Yeah, it certainly is in a lot of ways. So my type of cancer spreads like spray paint. It covers the areas it spreads to like moss. And we know that it is currently spreading, right? And so the goal of this chemo at the highest end possibility is to have the tumors regress. I don't know how likely that really is. My type of cancer, it doesn't respond to chemo particularly well based on the studies I've read. Now, there are ways that I am attempting to optimize the chemo for sure, and everyone's different. But based on the conversations we had with the doctors and the surgeons before even starting, if we can even get it to stop spreading, period, it would open up a possibility for surgery. And that surgery is known as a HIPEC. And that's where if they believe they can get it all, but they would want proof that you're not continuing to spread, because then what are we really doing? But if they believe they can get it all, they'll cut you open, they'll cut it all out, and then they'll put liquid chemotherapy in your body cavity. And some people are blessed enough to then get no evidence of disease, kind of get a clean slate. So, yeah, that would be certainly a positive possibility. We'll see. First things first. Where did we go? Paul G97. Hi, Noah. I relate a lot to your journey with alcoholism and low testosterone. I've been on TRT for 2 years now, and it's made a big improvement when taken responsibly. That's a great sentiment, and I'm glad it's made a positive impact for you. It's been an important part of my life, too. And kudos for mentioning the take it responsibly. That's been an evolving journey for me. Kelly White says, yes, always eat low sugar, only organic. I do my best, for sure. Steve says, hi, you're a trooper. I know everything will be well for you. My mom is 76, survived stage 4 bone. Wow. I'm happy for your mom, and I appreciate the kind words. Triple O Charlie, I forgot to ask you, what side effects are you experiencing with your treatment? If you're comfortable to discuss it, that is. Yeah. I'm an open book for you guys, and you guys give me the chance to share, and I feel very lucky. I think I'm lucky for that. Yeah, the main side effects are cold sensitivity, nausea, discomfort in my mouth, sleep disruptions, mild fatigue. I think those are it. Yeah, those are the main ones. A little bit of jaw pain, a little pain in my fingers, but nothing bad. Pretty easy going. Eplovis, Jesus, wow, Joy, that's encouraging, yeah. Kelly White says, gluten too always has mold, avoid it. Thanks, Kelly. Steve says, you look healthy. I'm trying, brother. Kelly says, food is medicine, you can cure your gut. Thanks, Kelly. Karen says, looking healthy, mate, I appreciate it. Clairbon says, there's so much to law of attraction that might not be able to put everything here. For a good starting point would be to watch the film The Secret or to read The Secret book by Rhonda Byrne. Yeah, I think I have then. I'm pretty sure I have. And I think I understand. And thank you for sharing that. Steve Catano says, I'm trying to lose weight and get healthy, but I actually gained 10 pounds. But you inspire me to get healthy. Yeah, I'm glad. And just it's a journey for all of us to surrender to the discipline and to anchor ourselves into the motivation that would require change. It's no secret that pain has often been my biggest motivator. Not always. Sometimes I can learn from others, or I can be inspired and gain perspective enough to change, but change is hard. And all we can do is keep trying. I can't tell you how many mistakes I've made since being diagnosed with cancer. Mistakes that I've made that I would have imagined I wouldn't make because the stakes are so high, and yet I made them anyway. So I get it. We're human. We're doing our best. Maya Thomas, my mom, my beautiful and strong mom, says, good morning, my sweetheart. Always love seeing your sweet face. I always love seeing your sweet face. Mom, I'm glad you're here on the live stream. Thank you. Oh, and she's a channel member. If you guys want behind the scenes stuff, you can become a member. It helps support my medical treatments. You shouldn't have become a member, Mom, because you see me every day. But I love you and I appreciate it. Sweet Grace says, remember, Noah, most people don't do vitamin C intravenous when doing chemo, so their side effects will be a lot worse. Yeah, no, I'm very mindful that we have a very carefully curated protocol for off weeks and on weeks, for supplements, for repurposed medications, for diet, for everything. I'm incredibly lucky. I've got a brilliant medical team, an incredible support system on here. I'm very well supported, and I'm so thankful. Paul G says, you're a really nice guy and a kind soul. I'm going to watch some of your videos on sobriety as I just finished my 3rd visit to rehab, and I'm trying to finish an outpatient program to return to work. Good for you. I have nothing unique to say about sobriety, though, to be clear. Any answer that I've tried to come up with on my own, anything I've tried to figure out by myself, hasn't worked out for me. So 12-step programs and committing to them as thoroughly and as diligently as my body, mind, and soul would let me has been what set me free. I'm just putting that out there. Everyone's different, but a full surrender to 12-step programs ultimately made the biggest difference for me. And I hope you find whatever you need. I've been to rehab 3 times. I'm so glad that I'm not currently in active addiction. It's hell. It's the worst. Claire Bond says, start by visualizing yourself as healed and the chemo healing the cancer. Focus on health and think thoughts and speak words of healing and health. For sure, example affirmation saying every day. Yeah, I love that, and I'm here for it. Thank you. Straight Jacket says, I know I bring this up all the time, but do you think you can make it through Bring Sally Up with push-ups or bodyweight squats at the point? Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you as soon as this changes. It might change very, very soon, but as of right now, I have plenty of pep and energy still for my workouts, for my CrossFit stuff, so I could nail that for now. Clarebon says, saying I am healthy, well, and healing. This helps you get on the vibration of healing. Visualize and script about how life will be once you have healed. Write in present tense as if it is. Yeah, okay, I manifest destiny, I think, or a vision of wellness, positive affirmations, gratitude. I'm here for all of it, and it's something I engage in. Thank you. Derek says, hi Noah, I'm happy the chemo is going well. Is there a specific number of chemo cycles in your plan? It should be 12. I think it will be 12 unless we have strong reason to discontinue via labs, images, or really bad response. Zach says, good morning. How are you feeling? I'm feeling good this morning. I'm a bit hungry, which is not a bad thing. I'm on day 4 of my calorie restriction around the chemo, and so I've done this twice, but yeah, I'm hungry. Jane says, thank you, Noah. No, thank you. Delivering with Ellen. Hello. Hi, Ellen. Zach says, I'm praying for you, and I hope you're doing okay. I appreciate the prayers. I'm doing okay. Thank you. Claire Bond says, there is also a great documentary called Heal, which is an Amazon Prime, which speaks about the power of your words and law of attraction on healing and follows people's journeys doing this in the effect. Thank you for that. That's great. Zach says, I hope you have a wonderful day today. You too, brother. Lips burn yet? From Zen. Yeah, a little bit of burning in my mouth, but I switched to a more gentle toothpaste, and I've been doing some baking soda, salt, and warm water, and swishing a little bit. That seems to help. DXDCs, hey Noah, I followed you for years. Your strength is so admirable. Proud of you, bro. Have you tried extensive fasting? I'm talking 7 days plus water only with chemo and Fenbid, ivermectin, and vitamin C. Thank you for following and supporting me. So this is something I hope to be able to explain very, very thoroughly and very well down the road in like a formal video. But I have a genetic mutation with my specific cancer. I think it's called the P53 gene. And so what this means for me personally is that I can't be in a fasted state for too long. or I will fall into autophagy. Now, autophagy, if you don't have cancer and you don't have tumors like I do, is a wonderful thing. It's self-cleaning. It's where your body starts eating up and eradicating rogue cells, cancer cells, pre-cancerous cells. It's a really, really great way to ensure or improve your chances for longevity and for fighting metabolic disease. But with a cancer like mine, with the P53 gene mutation, and I have a wild type of a KRAS mutation, which I guess is not a bad thing, so to speak. It just means that my cancer has become very effective at protecting itself. And one of the things it can do is it can use autophagy to protect itself. So my body cannot recognize my tumors and my cancer as being what they are. So it thinks it's something worth protecting, just like my healthy cells, if I get into a deep fasted state. So I can't fast. I can do a protocol that mimics a fast. So I'm doing Dr. Walter Longo's fasting mimicking diet, but a slightly higher caloric total version of that, so that we can ideally still get my insulin growth factors low, my glucose low, get me metabolically quiet, protect some of the healthy cells, maybe trick and miscue the cancer cells while we do this, right? Shift the energy down because they're just cancer cells clamor for energy, and then chemo can be more effective. Mebendazole won't work for me either. We've tested for them, and I have a really brilliant consultant who's verified this. That was a tough pill for me to swallow, no pun intended. And then ivermectin leverages autophagy as well, so it won't be effective as a complementary medication for me. That being said, there are meds that are complementary that we are definitely already using, and from beta-glucan to curcumin to high-dose melatonin to artesunate to high-dose vitamin C, all these things are helpful. But water fasting will be dangerous for me, which is it's a weird thing to understand, and I hope to be able to explain it even better than I already did. Claire Bond says, in the film Heal, I'm sure there's actually someone who has cancer and does this positive outcome. Would definitely recommend. I use law of attraction to manifest getting pregnant with both my sons, and it works. I love that for you. I'm happy for you. What the Dickens 92 says, hello Noah, I wish you all the love and strength from New Zealand. You're awesome, man. Hope your dad's health is okay too. Bless you both. I appreciate you taking time to check in. It's always so interesting to me to know that there are people all over the world watching. I hope you're well too, and I really appreciate you thinking of my dad also. Guys, if you don't know, I am still doing my best to, with as much humility as I can, fundraise for future treatments needed, alternative treatments needed that are helping me with the chemo for 2026. If it's on your heart and in your capability to support the GoFundMe or do a super chat here or join memberships, I'd be so thankful. I share that in the least manipulative way I know how, and I'm so glad you're here either way. I would just be remiss not to say that that's still on my heart to advocate for myself and to continue to ask for help that I do believe I need, and then find ways to give it all back. So if you want to do that, use that super chat function. That'd be great. But obviously no pressure, and I mean that. I really do. All right, let's keep this going. Eplo of Jesus says, have you ever heard that cancer eats sugar? My friend loves to research, and he told me that a while back, that they even use sugar to detect cancer. Yes, cancer loves energy. So yes, we know that different cancers have different metabolic outlets, if I'm wording that right. But glucose, glutamine, i.e. protein, triglycerides and fat like cholesterol, even ketones. It's incredible how adaptive cancer cells are and how good they are at finding ways to survive. Gotta stay on top of it. It sometimes strikes me as like an unwinnable battle. Doesn't mean it's true, but it crosses your mind, crosses mine at least. Oh, Julie says, hi Noah, have you read Chris Beat Cancer or Radical Remission? Yes, I've made my way through both of those books, audio and reading. I'm going through chemo right now on the same protocol as you. Julie, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for bringing that stuff up. Great books to read, important books to read. A lot of the info I read when I was first diagnosed didn't really sink in. I don't know if I wasn't ready to receive it or I didn't know where to go with it, but I've learned a lot of lessons since, and it's made a big difference. I have a super chat from Paul G, 1997, $1.99. Paul, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you, and I don't take it lightly. Everything I make here on YouTube helps support my home, my bills, and my treatments, and thank you. It means a lot. I feel very humbled by it. Eduarda says, hello, hope you're doing well. I am, and I hope you're doing well also. DXDC says, have you checked out Dr. Makis? I think you may find him useful, bro, really. Yeah, I've had consults with Dr. Makis, and I appreciate the help he's providing to the cancer community. Straight Jacket says, including pre-cancer diagnosis, what is your lifetime PR for the longest pure fast? 5 days. And I did a 5-day water fast, one 500 or 600 calorie meal, and then another 5-day water fast. Not necessarily, under great circumstances, as it was something that happened just before chemo or just before the diagnosis, but yeah. Karita says, your mom's so sweet. She is. She has a really good heart, and she gave a lot of it to me, I think. Or I get a lot of it from her. Alicia Hartwell says, the darkness will never take you down. The light will keep you alive to forevermore. Excuse me. Amen to that. I love that. It's beautiful. Snow Beaver, are you able to have the same medical intervention or surgery as Paul in Perth? He seems to be doing well. So that's the big question. Paul in Perth is an incredibly inspirational and transparent person who lives in Perth, Australia, and he has the same cancer as me, just about. Minor deviation, but essentially the same cancer as me. And when they discovered his cancer, it was it had spread much further than mine had. But he was still able to somehow find a doctor willing to attempt to get it all out of him and to do the HIPEC surgery, which has afforded him a lot more time here with us. And that is something that's very much on our radar for me. So we'll see. The doctor wasn't sure that she could get it all when they looked into my abdomen. They weren't sure. And, oh, wow, this is cool. And to that effect, that's why we do chemo. And anyway, yeah, I got distracted. So it says, Brain Donkey sent 5 big no Thomas gift memberships. That's so cool. I don't understand how that works. Oh. Wow. So thank you, Brian. Sent 5 Noah Thomas gift memberships. And then Sarah, Terry, Linda, Dogwalker, and Sembia received the gift membership. How did you guys end up? That's so cool. Thank you. How did you guys end up receiving the gift? I guess I don't know how that works, but I'm really, really glad. It makes me feel great, obviously, and I just think that's so generous. Wow, that's cool. YouTube. Thank you guys, all of you. Thank you. Where were we? Amaya says, hey, Noah, my friend. Hi, Amaya. Good to see you. Sarah says, God bless you, and God bless you, Sarah. Thank you. Alicia says, hi, Noah. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I am doing well. Thank you. Hope you are too. Excuse me. EP loves Jesus. Manifestation did nothing for me other than keep me in confusion. Interesting. If you're willing, explain that more. What confused you about manifesting good things for yourself? Paul says, would the insulin potentiated therapy you were having work with the current chemo to increase its effects? I don't think so. One of the things about the type of chemo that I unsuccessfully did in the past was that it relies on leveraging glucose consumption for the delivery of chemo. And so you deliver less chemo because the idea being you've activated more cancer cells to consume the chemo. I've heard from a number of people, including an oncologist, that type of chemotherapy I did could have been useful. I would have needed to do it for much longer, and that's not something I realized at the time. Sahil says, long story short, I have had pain in my right abdomen, and years later this December did a colonoscopy. Turns out I have an ulcer in my colony. I feel better now, staying strong. Let's fight together. Let's fight together for sure. And good job for advocating for yourself and figuring out what was going on. Amaya says, I'm sending you and your family so much love, Noah. And my family and I really appreciate it. I'm very lucky to have your guys' love and support. And I hope you know that I do have the intention of my content expressing love and support for you personally as well. All of you. All of you. Looks like we have another super chat for 1111. It's a very interesting number. Thank you for doing that. It helps support treatment and bills and offers me some peace of mind. And I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful. Sending so much love. You helped me get sober almost 2 years ago, and I can't thank you enough. Hey, that's so cool. Congrats on sobriety. Sounds like we've been sober for a similar amount of time. I think it's worth it. I think it's important, and good for you. That's great. That's an uplifting thing to share. I love that. It's wonderful. And thank you again for the super chat. Oh, I jumped around there. Therese Johnson says, hi Noah, I'm from Kentucky. I am battling stage 3A lung cancer. I did 3 rounds of 2 chemo and 30 rounds of targeted radiation. I'm a Christian. I'm praying for you and your wife. Please look up Psalm 91:1. I'm praying for you too. Yeah, I'd love to look up Psalm 91:1. I'll do that right now and we'll read it together. And sending you hope and bravery and courage and great success with your treatment. Can you please bring up Psalm 91:1 from the Bible to read? All right, Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I think that's what you wanted me to read. And let's see if I can have... Can you explain this for me to understand in modern terms? Let's see if AI can help me really process that. So here's the verse again, Psalm 91:1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Plain English meaning, whoever lives close to God, trusting Him and walking with Him daily, will live under His protection and care. That sort of thing gives me chills. I instantly felt like my eyes water. So he that dwelleth, this doesn't mean visit God once in a while. It means living with God, staying connected to Him, making Him your daily refuge. In modern terms, whoever makes God their home base, which is all I want to do personally. The secret place of the Most High. This is not physical location. It means a private, personal relationship with God. A place of prayer, trust, and surrender. A heart that stays close to Him. In modern terms, a personal, quiet relationship with God that the world can't see. Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. In the ancient world, shadow meant protection from heat, shelter from danger, safety under someone stronger. In modern terms, you live under God's protection like standing under a massive shield. A modern paraphrase, anyone who stays close to God, trusting Him daily, will live safely under His powerful protection. Yeah, that's such a beautiful thing. Thank you. I still have insecure thoughts about sharing my faith on here, because it's so important in my mind that this be a neutral place where we can all be. And I just want everyone who wishes to spend time with me to know that they're wanted, accepted, and that they matter. And then I want to find space to share my growing and budding faith and all of that. I love learning about the Bible, and I certainly pray all the time. It's just like all I do. So thank you for sharing that. It brings me a peace that I can't explain. Brings me a peace I can't explain. Matthew says, "You're a strong man, brother." Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Annette says, "Hi." Hi, Annette. Straight Jacket Fitness, that's awesome to hear about your ability to train. My own training regimen has been invaluable to my mental health, hence my username. Yeah. Oh, wow. Why didn't I get that sooner? I don't know that fully sank in until just now. That's badass. Annette says, "Hi." Hi, Annette. Jennifer says, "What about red light therapy and castor oil?" I don't know about those. I think I've looked a little bit into them, but one thing I've learned about myself in this cancer journey is that it's not so much what I could do, but what I would do. That's something you'll often hear when it comes to trying to promote change, right, in our lives. There are incredible protocols for a great many things, and the perfect protocol, in my experience, as cliche as this sounds, is the one that I'm actually willing to commit to and stick to. And that's been hard to parcel out what that means for me. That being said, basically I have a hierarchy of what I know to be most important, and I have a trust system with my medical team about what I need to anchor my focus on and make sure that I don't miss, that I'm deliberate and I'm focused and I'm executing my portion of the work required to get better or at least prolong my life. And so that's what I focus on. I hope that makes sense. We have another very generous super chat from our three geckos, who's also a channel member. God bless you for blessing me doubly. Aloha, Noah. Glad you're doing well on your first round of chemo. Another great verse to remember is Matthew 6:34. Aloha. Lisa, is it Lisa or Lisa? Thank you for the super chat. You bless me so much. Also with your personal testimony and your witness and your expression of what you've been going through and things you have to endure. You seem very brave and very generous. I don't take that lightly. And I'd love to read Matthew 6:34 now. What is the Bible verse? Matthew 6, verse 34. Say, both in the Bible and then translated for modern understanding. Matthew 6:34 in the King James Version. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. What this means in modern terms, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will have its own problems. Today already has enough challenges. Focus on today. Yeah, staying present, staying in the day. Amen. Thank you. It's beautiful. All right. And thank you again for the super chat. Mark says, Noah, how are you today? I'm doing good, brother. Thank you. How are you? Sending you, Braying Donkey says, sending you so much love. You helped me. Oh, I think I already read that one. R3 Geckos, aloha. Yeah, aloha. Annette says, hope and joy prayers for you. Thank you for that. Amaya says, no, I'm still dealing with the kidney stones, unfortunately. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. How are you coping? And what's next for you from like a treatment perspective? Stephanie says, read all of Psalm 91. I will. I will. I think I'll probably do that privately. I don't want to alienate anyone on here. I'll strike that balance, but I will. Thank you. DXDC aspirin, 75-80 milligrams a day is the most effective anti-cancer over-the-counter product available. Its effects on inflammation are remarkable. It could perhaps give you an extra 1%. Worth checking. Yeah, no, I've heard about that. I'm on a number of things that actually thin my blood a fair bit right now. And I have a bleeding risk with the medication I'm taking as a part of my chemo regimen called Avastin. So that is certainly on our radar, and we'll make sure to be mindful of how it can be introduced and when it can be introduced, if it can be done safely. Stephanie says, I read Psalm 91 along going through many different things but also thyroid cancer. So you're going through thyroid cancer is how I take that to mean. That must be hard. How are you coping? What are your treatment plan? Or what is your treatment plan? And Lloyd Maylor shows, I think, a British flag. Forgive me if that's not right. No, that's not a British flag. Ugh, I shouldn't have even said that out loud. And a cup of tea. Mark says, are you listening to an audiobook? Yes, I am listening to an audiobook. Right now, I am listening to... I'll show you exactly what I'm listening to. I'm currently listening to The Promise of Heaven. I'm just trying to keep my spirits up and trying to keep my head calm. By Dr. David Jeremiah. 31 Reasons to Get Excited About Your Eternal Home. Brings me a lot of peace. Amaya says, I'm still doing my art channel. Good. Keep doing your art channel. Let that be a release for you. Natalie Duality says, you're a good soul, Noah. Wishing you healing. Thanks, Natalie. I think you're probably a good soul too. I certainly think I'm trying to be. It's nice of you to say. Thank you. Lori Larkin says, Noah, have you been in contact with a man named Paul from Perth? I have. I have Paul in my phone. I'm lucky enough to know him and to spend time with him. All right, guys. We've been on this stream for how long now? There's a timer on here somewhere. Almost an hour. Looks like we're up to date and current with everyone. I suppose if there are no more messages or thoughts or personal shares, that maybe we just go with the flow and we call it here. I'll probably give it a couple minutes to breathe, but I really hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I'm okay hanging out for a bit longer if it's of any value and if it's what's meant to be. But yeah, this has been great. It's been a great way to start my day. I really, really appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. Lori Larkin says, Noah, have you been... Oh yeah, Arthur Gecko's great book choice, Noah. Thank you. Yeah, it just makes me feel good. Amaya says, no, I'm not sure yet as for the treatment for the kidney stones, but I have had surgery for them. Yeah, that's tough. That must be tough. I'm praying for you. Praying for you. All right, you guys, I think if I'm reading the signs right, we'll go ahead and call it there. I hope you guys have... I don't practice Wim Hof breathing particularly, no. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you for blessing my life. Thank you for giving me something to do this day. Wishing you strength and courage in whatever you're facing. And just know that you're not alone. And you guys help me think I'm not alone. And I really, really, I really appreciate it. Zen says, try not to think of it like you're on borrowed time. Just go through it. So you got a little anxiety, a couple of minutes goes by, a couple lucky hours. Yeah, I've checked out your art channel. I'll check it out again today. I think I checked it out. I believe I did. Forgive me if I didn't. I think I did, though. I think I subscribed. Webby says, thumbs. Thanks, Noah, for everything. I have no napkins. I don't know why I didn't think of Wim Hof before. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you guys are the best. Have a good day. We'll see you guys soon. I appreciate you so much. Bye-bye.